We are good to go. Um, Mario, I love very cold weather. Is that weird? No, I love cold weather because I burn up. I'm hot. You know what I mean? And so, um, yeah, I love it. Plus, you can always add more layers. Like you can't add layers. Um, or you can't take off layers. There's a certain number of layers you can take off. Um, and so yeah, I definitely prefer colder weather. um yeah, I'll wear like hoodies. I love hoodie weather. So like if it's hoodie weather and it's fall weather, oh, that's perfect. And then it gets a little cold, you get the cold breeze and everything. Oh my goodness. I live in Southern California, so I don't really get to experience that except for like maybe one day a year. But yeah, it's either hot, really hot, or just all of a sudden cold, like just a cold, you know. But yeah, do 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 do. Oh, let me see here. Bum, bum, bum. Hey Desiree, how's it going? I did see you pop in just this time because I just happened to look at the right area at the right time. Hello, how are you? Did the kids enjoy their food? Wait until I post on the Discord right now. Boom. Gonna release the hounds. Oh man. I'm a happy guy. Hey, honey Bay, how are you doing? I didn't put it together yet, but I'm not going to be on live. This is going to be the only time I'm going to go live tonight for like maybe an hour, maybe two. But after that, so putting it together, and I will, I will prove it to you by posting pictures or adding it to my story or something. Pasta and breadsticks. Oh man, you got to go where your family. You got to go to the Olive Garden, because they got all that pasta and breadsticks. They got what you need. Hey Kim, how's it going? Thank you for the Go Populars. It did indeed. I warmed up their awesome, awesome. Warmed up cookies are the best. Those cookies at Loma are really good. Did you ever like take those and take them home or anything? Um, oh, Joso, how's it going? Yeah, I was trying to change something. Why would it not let me? There we go. Awesome, awesome. So yeah. There you go. I gotta change that goal, that live goal, because that doesn't help me. I need the heart me's. The heart me's are the ones that help. Oh, just chilling tonight. Oh, yeah. Ew, they gonna sleep? Not yet, but I'm gonna go. Oh, honey babe, thank you for the heart me. I'm gonna go. This is the only time I'm gonna go live tonight. Be on for maybe like an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And then after that, my cutoff is 8. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna put together the sauna that Honey Bay had me get, and I am going to, maybe I'll have a little sauna, maybe then a little shower, and maybe I'll just go to bed. Who knows? But yeah, we'll see what happens. Whew. I said sauna. Yes, it's a infrared sauna because Honey Bay had piriformis. Piriformis, I can't remember. Piriformis, and it's the same thing that I have. The pain in my butt, basically, and she swore by the infrared sauna. Oh yeah, sauna in a shower. I'm gonna be like parasympathetic nerves. Post punk 71. I'm so punk rock though. So I'm not even post punk. I am in punk. Um, but yeah, ways to relax is soak in the bathtub. Oh, you got the bath caddy? Yeah, I got the bath caddy too. One of the things I want to do is like set up a TV like on the wall right by the bathtub because that'd be like super awesome. But there's like no electricity around there. I guess around the bathtub is kind of a bad idea. So, oh, you're into the Steam ones, Joso? Yeah. Postpuck is finding out everyone in the movement had CPTSD. Yeah, basically, just got rejected from the Academy of Art. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Is that I'm so sorry that you have to go through that, and I'm sure that that's really difficult. How are you feeling about that? Disturbing and problematic? Then they don't understand art. You don't want to go there, right? If the kind of art that you're looking for is something that they feel like is not, you know, um, not art, then yeah, you know, yeah. I mean, the thing is like, I don't know, like that's so ridiculous, you know. Um, yeah. You'll show them. How are you gonna show them? Please don't get me kicked off of the out of the TikTok. uh, oh, okay. Well, yeah. I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah. Bath projector, Amanda. Have you thought about submitting for a Nobel Prize or something? I feel like you just solved all my problems. Um, and I'm ready. I'm ready to have that TV bath. Gosh, I'm gonna do it. Maybe I'll do sauna, bath, shower. Joso broing, huh? Yeah, I'm like kind of like I don't know where to go. Uh, it's kind of like no, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? Ooh, a trio. Yeah, I like trios. I like the what is it? The trio appetizer at Chili's. You know, that's good. Um, I forgot what they call it though. The triple dipper. All right. So, you guys who go to Chili's, what is your triple dipper configuration? That's what I want to know. Like, I feel like this is important. Desiree, are you vegetarian? You hate baths? Yes, that's what happens with me. I get bored a little bit, but I feel like I just get so sweaty inside the bath, you know? And so it's like I have to take a shower afterwards, you know? It's good for a soak, but yeah. Um, yeah. But would you be bored if you had a TV projector, boom, like right there? I'm telling you, like my life has changed. Amanda, you changed my life. Because now I am going to do it. Whatever, yeah, like half an hour. I love it when like you can find like the right so like I use Chat GPT to be like, hey, what kind of things can I put in my bath too? And then like, you know, either, you know, smooth my skin or, you know, for just stress relief or whatever, like from things around the house. And it'll tell you like what to put in it and everything. You know, it had me putting in like honey and milk and like a little bit of baking soda or baking powder. I can't remember which one. No, you put it in the bath. BATH. Um, and yeah, it worked. Well, like my skin was super soft too. I'll read a book usually. That's why frozen fruit one in there. In Chili's? Oh, in the bath. Sorry, I'm still on the Chili's. Like, I need to know people's triple dippers. But hey, for me, it's the sliders, the boneless wings, buffalo, and then it's either going to be the Southwestern egg rolls or some of the Nashville hot chicken. I know the bath. I know the bath. I was just trying to understand. Oh yeah, yeah, Joseph. So, Chili's is a restaurant that is in the U.S. or in a airport near you. Egg rolls, cheese dip, and wings. Okay, I can respect that. I can respect that. I'll keep you around. But that sounds wrong. Well, see, a lot of the things that you know happen sound wrong, but that's what makes it so right too. Hey Beth, how are you doing? Um, but yeah, those Southwestern egg rolls aren't they like so good? They taste like those gas station burritos that I used to get, and that were like so unique. It brings back that that time. How was my day? My day was really good. Um, my day has been actually since I woke up yesterday, but it's been good. I had a really good afternoon. Um, oh my gosh, Joso, for reals. And so here's the thing: it's like kind of like the fast food sit down place. Okay, so like all the places they taste exactly the same. Most of the stuff's probably reheated, all that junk, right? But it's pretty decent. It's not really like a lot of things raise their prices too, but Chili's didn't really raise their price too much, and so yeah, I think people are sleeping on it. And I mean, I do like the finer things in life, but I'll also get down with some Chili's, you know. I'll get down with some Mickey D's, all that stuff. Some Taco Bell. Um, yeah, I've been taking some magnesium. Um, McDonald's is running a monopoly. What country are you in again, Joe? So I know I should remember this stuff, but I keep forgetting. I'm gonna write it down because I keep wondering. And you order Domino's? Nice. Croatia. All right. Got it. Putting it in my notes. Hey Tucker, there's 2 Domino's in the whole country. Are any of them near you? I know this. Hold on. I know this dude who got the Taco Bell logo tatted on his calf. Some crazy love right there. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: if they brought back the Mucho Grande nachos, the 2 pounds of nachos, it had like jalapenos on it too, but then basically all the basic nacho stuff, none of like the sour cream and guacamole and stuff. If they brought that back, I would tattoo the Taco Bell logo in multiple places. You know, KFC's and a few Burger Kings. Oh yeah, so basically you got Yum Foods there. 6 in your hometown. Over 40 McDonald's. The website is timadhd.com, but it may not work yet. I'm having some certificate issues. I should actually check it right now. Well, it's cool. It's showing the live. Yeah. But there's a join Discord button on it. So yeah, it's showing the live on it. It's pretty cool. Wow. Check it. I'm gonna move this thing. Look it. Isn't that awesome? So that's the website, and then I got like the join Discord part on it. So you can go and click right here to join Discord, and then you can see the live, and then you can see the YouTube version of it. So you can click here, and then it'll start playing the live on YouTube, right? And so pretty freaking sweet, right? Pretty freaking sweet. And hopefully that solves the issue with the Discord thing. You know what I mean? Hopefully. Let's slide you over a little bit. There we go. I'm hosting a kid's sleepover tonight, Amanda. You are a brave person, and I think you are also a good person because so many people would not do that, especially like on a Thursday night and stuff. Unless you're in another country and it's Friday already. Is it Friday already? Probably. I gotta roll campaign for talk. Yeah, you know what? If they, I'm telling you, mucho grande nachos. Yeah, it's Friday. Woohoo! So, New Zealand or Australia? And I should know this, and I'm sorry, I forget. I have this thing called ADHD. It's even bad with names, but thankfully, your name is there. Oh, that's a good stretch. Doesn't need to keep. See, that's. Wait, no, it does keep a above average standard on customer support and cleanliness. So there's a McDonald's down. Did I say Walmart? Just curious, but there's a McDonald's down the street from me. That I swear is the worst one on the planet. You can go in and order like a basic Happy Meal, right? You'll have to wait 45 minutes. And if you go through the drive-through, they're just going to tell you to pull to the side and then you're going to wait 45 minutes. It's so ridiculous. No more McDonald's. Hey, now you see here, all right? I fully understand the whole thing with supersize me and everything, but I have freedoms and I want to exercise my freedoms. Every now and then. 2-minute time limit. Is that your set limit? All right, make this bigger. Right now, the orange drink. Is there an orange drink at like I don't know. I don't pay attention. Like what is this orange drink? Is it just like orange soda, or one in Chicago? Oh, like the big one, like the 2-story one. It's like across the street from that what is it? The Italian beef place. Yep. I've been to the Windy City and I saw the big McDonald's, but it was because I was across the street getting some Italian beef. Feedback on sound. Thank you. I know why. Thank you, somebody, for telling me that. Appreciate it. Let's see. I also have autism and ADHD. You do any support groups? How do I cope? So I'll tell you right now, the best thing that happened to me was discovering the ADHD community on TikTok, because it, people, and even for years have just put like their tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff on TikTok. And then when you search for people who have ADHD and see their content, there's so much stuff that other people have figured out that you can just benefit from, and DBT and dialectical behavioral therapy. Absolutely. Because both autism and ADHD come with emotional dysregulation, and dialectical behavioral therapy teaches you emotional dysregulation in addition to distress tolerance, mindfulness, and interpersonal effectiveness, or basically just communicating with someone else. And that gave me tons and tons of information that helped me out. But if you cannot afford to go to a DBT group, you can do it yourself too with a book like this. And so that book is also online for free if you wanted it. Hey Colin, how's it going? J2Box, how are you? But yeah, to go back to it, that community, the community there is really really helpful. DBT therapy, very very helpful. I think the main thing that I would do when you're going and working through this stuff is trying to work with neurodivergent or neurodivergent affirming practitioners, because those are the ones who are going to truly understand you. And you know, if you had a late diagnosis like me, like you're kind of wanting to get caught up on all the answers, you know. And so you know, give yourself that opportunity, you know, because a late diagnosis freaking sucks. You know, imagine just like all of a sudden waking up and you don't even know your brain. It's a very hard thing to go through, and it's not like it was able to just get back up. It took me like a month and a half before I could even like, well, more like 2 months before I could even leave the house. So yeah, watch out. You know what? I was just trying to do a nice thing, Desiree, and that's all. You know, give him the cookie that I didn't take, um, and tell him it's a gift from the Uber driver. Yeah. Bye bye. Everyone say bye to Desiree. I know, like some of you, like I was kind of expecting you to be like, oh hey, I know you. Where you guys at? Come on. Have a good one, Desiree. But yeah, so that is one of the things though, truly, you guys, that helped me was TikTok and finding community and joining community and all that stuff. And if you don't have one, you can join our community. And if you do have one, you can join our community. But go to timadhd.com and there should be a link there to join the Discord. So check it out. What time is it for me? It is 6:37 on this wonderful, what day is it? Oh geez, it's Thursday. I'm gonna have to take the trash out. So, oh man. Well, see, here's the thing. The last time I woke up, it was Wednesday. So, I will be confused a little bit. But yeah, you know what? That just happens. So, but I'm gonna sleep so good tonight. That's why I said I'm going live early. I'm gonna get off around 8 o'clock, set up a sauna, crash out, and then just sleep so good. You had to check the other day, like what day it was. Yeah. Gabe, how are you doing? How are you doing with all the things and stuff? Mr. Rogers, yes, yes. It's early today because I have not slept since I woke up yesterday morning. So we going to have a fun time. I'm going to be very delusional, and then I'm going to go to bed. Am I okay? I haven't slept in over 24 hours. I'm 36 now, but it's cool. I'm gonna be going to bed in a couple hours. But I am okay. I'm doing pretty good. Appreciate that. Joseph, why you no say anything, dude? I thought you would be like all over, all over. I'm just kind of expecting it, you know. not that you have to. I'm just saying that, like, knows what kind of mess she's getting into. I will say one thing. One thing. First time she came in, talking with people, helping people out, giving advice, all that stuff. That's pretty cool. You know? So, yeah. Just kind of dropping that there real fast. Anyway, yeah, so invade. You have my permission, good sir. Look, you guys are practically family to me, really. I pick my family, and I've picked a lot of you guys. So you can invade just like family would, right? That's inherent there, just to the degree that you want. I'm gonna maybe ask my mom if I can get tested for what we talked about, because you're in high school. Do you and have you kind of thought about how you're going to be able to ask? You know, maybe it's talking about your symptoms again and not using labels, right? I'm just saying, look, I don't think it's bipolar, but I am having issues with this, and all that stuff, and then go from there, right? Could work, maybe. Maybe that's advice I already gave you. I don't know. But yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, so today at the program they talked about radical acceptance, which you've heard me talk about it before. I've mentioned that it's typically one of the hardest DBT skills for people, because it's essentially letting go, but letting go with purpose versus just like ignoring it, that kind of stuff. And it's very hard for a lot of people to like let go of things and to like really just like release it, because there's nothing that you can do. If you want to go to the Discord, timadhd.com, and there will be a link there to join my Discord. I would say click the link in my profile, but that does not work for some reason. So I think I'm just gonna say I think I got bipolar because I don't think she knows what it actually is. Yeah, but that also may introduce a stigma. You know what I mean? If you talk just about the symptoms, there's nothing that they can do to say, well, you're not having this, you're not experiencing this. Like, you're just talking about what you are experiencing, and it'll take away sort of the nuance that kind of gives people the need to like fill in information, but of course, the situation, all that. Tucker, are you back? Are you? I mean, are you really? Because you've been kind of in and out. 3 shows in the next 2 days. My goodness. Why is my? All right. That's true, and she's very reasonable about the stuff. Only reason I'm hesitant is stepdad. Do you think stepdad's gonna interfere? You guys want to know like a fun fact about me? Of course you do. You're in my life. All right. So, this is a stim that I have. All right. It's a stim that I have under my desk, but it's so cool. All right. Oh, it's a bass pedal. All right, for like a drum. And what I do is I'll put my foot on it, and I'll do like this like heel toe move that like allows you to do like kind of a double beat, and that will be something that I will just like obsess over, like just like doing that beat, because when I was younger, that beat was required for the fast punk rock beat that I like. It was required to kind of be able to do that thing with your foot, and a lot of people couldn't do it. And so like I obsessed over it like one summer, and was able to like figure it out and everything, hyper focus and all that stuff. And so like it's kind of something where it's just like, oh yeah, there's a very, very complicated drum beat, and I can do like a little part of it. Live is lagging often. You mean, does it like freeze and then stop, Sophie? Or link between ADHD and so people with ADHD, especially who are undiagnosed, can often develop addictions because those things help them feel normal, right? And it reduces the noise, all that kind of stuff. But really, what it's doing is just shutting off those sensors, but yeah. So you knew about the desk bang sound, or yeah, because like the drum beats like this, or I can't do it right now. No, I can't do it. I don't like I put myself on the spot and then I can't do the thing. You know what I mean? So, but it's a good stem. You know what I mean? To like tap your foot and have it hit something. Um, hey Nick, pretty sure I'm on the exact same path. I'm really struggling with living within my capacity. Oh my goodness, like you know, feel validated because homie, it's real, right? Um, give yourself grace, because you are struggling with a lot, right? You know, it's a big part of your life right now, and you know, I hit burnout when I discovered everything, and when I hit burnout, my executive dysfunction went from, or my executive function went from dysfunction to just disappearing. And so burnout basically was living without emotional, right? You know, sorry, executive function. So it was very, 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 very challenging. Um, and if you're at that kind of place, you know, first, of course, please talk to a therapist, because you got to remember that, yeah, you deal with ADHD. It's a regular thing, all that kind of stuff. You have no idea how much therapy is needed just to take care of the fact that you were fighting a battle you were never going to win, and one that you probably failed many, many, many times. Um, you know, give yourself grace because um, you know, we may be on similar paths, but my path, and I hope you go on this path too, is about growth and it's about healing. It's about gathering understanding, and gaining a better sense of self, understanding yourself more. And those are things that are going to be very valuable, especially when you probably don't have a sense of self right now because of all these things, you know? I lost my sense of self and it got pretty tragic, you know? But yeah, you know, feel free to stick around, please do. And I have a Discord as well if you want to join the community. You know, we're talk talk about stuff all the time, and I don't have to be live. So, you know, I really, really, really do hope that you embrace community in one way or another. Did the capacity rebuild? What was that like? So I'm still in burnout a little bit. Um, Part of it, um, oh, I feel like once my divorce is final, a lot of stuff is going to ease up as far as my nervous system. Um, but yeah, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like I'm not able to progress right now, which is why I'm taking time off of work, because I can't even finish the things that I already started. Right? Um, why you been staying up for so long though? If you're comfortable saying, Gabe. So it was um last night it was a last minute request to um, itemize how my um, kid's mom and I are going to divide our assets. And so it was a bit tough, you know, because it's just like another like real thing that reminds you that you're going through all that, you know. The website worked, but it doesn't directly open Discord. It That's good feedback. Um, does What does it do when you open it? Thank you for the follow, Nick. I really do hope that you come back in and stuff because, like, we, you're gonna find people that are gonna be able to support you, that are gonna be able to relate with you and understand you in ways that nobody else has. You know, um, um, I was late diagnosed. There's not much help in the UK. Yeah, I was. You know, when I realized all this stuff, like it's weird how you realize how throughout your life it manifested, you know. But then even more so, how did you deal with that, you know? Yeah. Sorry to hear about the divorce. Usually I give advice when I got out of high school. Hey, Gabe, don't worry about it. You know, to be honest with you, I've known that this has been coming for over a year. The first time I brought up divorce was over a year ago. And yeah, I petitioned for it. Can't really explain why, you know, but I am sticking up for myself. I am not necessarily sticking up for myself. I am advocating for myself. That's really what I'm doing. Not sticking up. It's just making sure that I honor myself, you know, because I am the kind of person that would just give everything because I want people to have everything, you know, even if it means I have nothing. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why I had to get a lawyer. I had to make sure I didn't do stuff like that. But yeah. So, I haven't really found that yet, but it's early. Well, I'm not pumping the Discord per se. It's just that like when people come in and they don't have community, I want to offer that. People have been having a difficult time accessing the Discord, and so that's why I did the whole website thing, because it was going to make it easier than people clicking on my profile. But it's just kind of like a difficult thing. But really, I don't care if people join or don't join. I mean, it's great if they do, but nobody has to. I just hope that you're able to find a community that will support you and encourage you, understand you, and not lead you down a dark path on something to do with your ADHD that you know you probably would not want to do. Yeah, there's a Discord link in profile, or go to timadhd.com. Or probably like promoting setting high expectations with consigned community. Open Discord. Okay, good. Yeah. See, the thing is that it doesn't work for everybody. There's a few people in here who have been trying to get on it for a while, and they keep receiving errors and all that stuff. But I'm glad that it worked for you, because it's one less person that's having an issue with it. But there are issues with it. Yeah, I'm not promoting either. I'm not gonna make any money off this stuff, and honestly, like that's not even what my goal is. My goal, seriously, is to be a light in people's lives, because when I went through all this stuff, I seriously felt so alone. Like, who in the hell does not realize they're ADHD and autistic and all these things, you know, for decades, right? And yeah, so I don't know. You guys are gonna flatter me. You don't want to flatter me. But yeah, it was very lonely, very very lonely. And then I posted about it on Facebook to like select number of people. Like literally, I had like 700-800 friends on there. I found like 10 that I was like, okay, I could tell you guys, and you guys are not going to judge, not, you know, and all that stuff. Through that, I learned half of them had ADHD. Some of them found out recently. And what was really scary was how alone I felt, because I felt seriously alone. And so now I can be here on live, be open about these things that I have, and people can come in and say, me too. You know, maybe that wasn't something you thought you were going to do today. Acknowledge something that you, you know, that you need, you know. But really, it's just about like, you need to find community, you know, and especially like if you are going through any of these things, don't just try and fix the things. Like, go to therapy for the trauma of realizing these things, because it is a traumatic moment to realize all this stuff, you know. Yeah, some people observe you once they find out. I'm here, chill with me whenever you go in San Diego. What are we gonna do? San Diego's not too far. I could be in San Diego in like 45 minutes. And I won't even have to drive. My car will just drive itself. What's therapy like? One of my friends told me I should. Um, so therapy, it really depends on who you go to, but a lot of the talk therapy is going to be cognitive behavioral therapy. And really what it's going to do is kind of like challenge you to look at things from like different perspectives, that kind of stuff. If you, however, are dealing with trauma that's very complex, going to a CBT therapist may invalidate you. Coronado Beach, I would go camping at Silver Strand. Um, it was those were fun times. Um, but yeah, love your message, man. Thanks. For me, it was just a lot of denial too. Yeah, there was a lot of denial on my end at first, but um, when I started realizing what the ADHD was and started being able to, connect the body symptoms with the words and all that stuff, I was able to really see, specifically like what it was. And I saw that it was something that I had dealt with for so long, and so then I really did forgive myself, because I needed to. And that helped me get, forgive myself, give myself grace, and then, be able to move on. Complex trauma. So PTSD is trauma, right? So that is my PTSD. So because I have both CPTSD and PTSD. My PTSD, my dyslexia is going to be so weird tonight. Okay, guys, I'm just calling it out right now. Okay, I'm going to be blabbering. I'm going to be, swapping words, probably even going mute a little bit, but just bear with me. So trauma. I was sick for a year with a GI issue that like basically conditioned my body to think that even after it was healed, that once I try to go to sleep, I'm going to wake up very nauseated and sick. It never happened, but that fear just stayed there, right? Now, complex PTSD is a real pain in the butt. That is multiple occurrences of trauma over an extended period of time, typically from the person who's your caregiver or the closest person to you. In adolescence, at times too, which then results in behavioral changes, differences to like how you respond to things, because you're responding out of panic. You're not responding from a baseline of calm, because all you know is panic. Your that what your real life, your experiences are panic in anyone else's eyes. You're conditioned to accept them, not realizing that you're having this panic. And that's one of the real tough things about going through all this stuff, is that I need to be very, very mindful of how much energy I'm using on things, but yeah. And so with the CPTSD also, it also results in a lot of like kind of like abandonment issues, if that makes sense. It also is a nervous system disorder. And so because of that, because it's a stress response and all that stuff, and because there was fear involved, my amygdala now very easily gets triggered. But it really has my whole life. I've never really liked scary movies because I live in basically a fear state that is just so easily triggered. It's like, why would I want to have more fear in my head? I always have it, you know what I mean? So I've never been able to like really watch horror movies and stuff. But yeah. So guys, I'm starting to space out. Am I like blabbering? For those of you who don't know, I didn't sleep last night. But I seriously feel like I'm spacing out. So like I wouldn't tell you much of my stuff, but what would you suggest for me? Gabe, I would suggest seriously like a therapist, or maybe school. Does your school have a counselor or any therapist or anything like that? Thanks. To be honest with you, like that last bout of things that I was saying towards stuff, like something happened in the middle of it, and I feel like I fell asleep for a second and woke up, like straight up. You don't trust therapists? I definitely have had my set of bad therapists, but I've also discovered a lot of really good therapists. Oh, no school ones? Yeah. Yeah. It's rough. Dark side. You're getting what you want, huh? Maybe I'll put the sauna together tomorrow when I wake up at like 4 a.m. because I'm barely hanging on right now. Um, yeah, I will go to sleep soon though. Maybe I'll post a story to show you guys proof that I'm in bed, asleep, and everything. You know, so yeah, therapists are like very, very, very important. Therapists are basically your resource, your single resource that's going to help you. And denying yourself that resource is just unfair to yourself, you know? I don't even know why my friend told me to go to therapy. Like, she knows I can't talk about my stuff. Well, that's why you need to go, Gabe. It's not, that's the reason why you need to go. Because talking about stuff is like vital, especially if it's trauma. You are going to have to process whatever trauma you have at some point, because the whole point of getting a CPTSD diagnosis and all that stuff is to get that stuff under control, you know. So you got to talk about things, you got to open up, you got to be able to accept feedback and not look at it as rejection or anything like that, but just look at it as trying to get a particular message out there, so let's see. Yeah, Joso also said look for neurodivergent or neurodivergent affirming practitioners. Do that. Even though you're not like neurodivergent, like they understand, a misdiagnosis or a misunderstood diagnosis. So, yeah. I think I processed it. Like I don't have anything like PTSD. I just can't trust. Gabe, have you heard my story of my CPTSD? Let me know if you haven't, and I'll tell you about my story. No, okay. I think I processed it though. Like I doubt I have anything like PTSD. I just can't trust. Yeah. Okay. So here's my trauma. It's gonna involve. I'm not going to use like harsh trigger words, but it is going to involve physical acts of hurt and pain, basically violence. That's really the only trigger warning. Oh, and one more, electrocution, but I'll go into that in a minute. So, hi, I'm Tim, and I have ADHD and autism, right? Born with it, right? Masked a lot of it. Was able to find ways to cope, including pushing down my sensory sensitivity and embedding it into my back muscles and finding other ways to just kind of like function. Okay. My parents, probably with some good in their heart, maybe, I don't know, decided that they would use certain practices in a book to discipline their kids. And the book is The Strong-Willed Child by Dr. James Dobson. Dr. James Dobson, the founder of Focus on the Family, which is a very, very prominent, Christian organization. And I know this because I was involved in, a lot of that mess. But that book promotes corporal punishment. Okay. And so that was what my parents decided to do. Except, my parents used this, right? And it was a very normal thing. My mom actually gave this to me a few months before I had the response, and said, "You got it the most. You should keep these." And yeah. But anyway, so imagine a 3-year-old, getting that. I discovered through my trauma that as a child, I would dissociate. I would, and the thing is, I remember a lot of this. It's hard to forget certain things, even in your youth. I remember dissociating, but still being present. Okay. And it was me basically finding ways to like, and another thing is like, I can still dissociate. It's really hard to explain, but you're able to basically just disconnect your response to the pain receptors, and kind of like compartmentalize different parts of your body. For me, I was just like everything, right? And so as a young child, I discovered dissociation as a means to cope through these traumatic things that I was experiencing. And so I would numb the pain, the emotions would be numb too. And whatever I've last saw would just stay in my head and then kind of slowly fade away, right? I could still hear everything though, but that's okay. I think that was kind of like my anchor to stay present, you know? You need a new physician. You are speaking nonsense. Please get help. I'm talking about how I got help if you want to stick around. And so as a child, as a 3-year-old, learning to dissociate, that's pretty like tough pill to swallow, because you have to think, what kind of trauma did a 3-year-old experience that was so heavy and was so traumatic that I developed a nervous system response, right? Because I have, functional motor disorder, which is basically stems from, as a child, neural pathways being developed to respond, protect myself from that trauma, disconnect from your pain or so. Yeah. Do you know what dissociation is? Dissociation is literally that. And it's something that everyone can do, but a lot of people never have to. No human can do that. I can. That's what helped me survive. No, you're not I'm not a physician. No, I'm a person with lived experience who lived this. It doesn't matter if I'm a physician, because it's not just physicians that experience dissociation. People who go through trauma experience dissociation. I don't need to go to med school to know what I've lived. If you want to listen, feel free, because I can educate you based off of my lived experience, but you're not going to be able to educate me off of your lack of knowledge. Okay? Dissociation is a real thing. It's in like the medical books, and it's been researched for years. Dissociation is like one of the core parts of multiple personality disorder, or dissociative identity disorder, which I have firsthand experienced witnessing. The thing is like, you can live in sort of this bubble of not understanding complex mental health, and that's fine. If you never come across any complex mental health issues, cool. But there is a world where things do not work out the way like they did for you. I don't need your studies. Seriously, I have lived experience, and I'm sharing about my lived experience. So if you would like to hear about it, cool. If you don't want to hear about it, just swipe up and find a different life that you can be in. That you're just disrupting things for people who actually want to be here and learn. Anyway, so back to my childhood trauma, and if he keeps going, just mute him. But anyway, so I learned to dissociate. Not only that, there were times when I would receive the hits, and it was done in very psychologically messed up ways. Being told, when they take me into certain rooms, that nobody can hear me cry, and that I can cry as loud as I want. Nobody's coming for me. I was told one time that, probably once or twice, but I was told they were going to hit until I stopped crying. And so I had to force myself to not cry while getting attacked. Oh, I gave you guys, yeah, go ahead. Thank you so much, Honey Bang. People just don't want to believe things because they are dealing with stuff themselves that they're trying to keep away. If they come to realize that what I'm going through is real, they may realize, crap, this stuff is real. That means the thing that I pushed away is probably real. You know, that happens a lot. But anyway, so that would be my thing. Hit until I stop crying. I remember blacking out, and I was at number 14 when I blacked out. But now a lot of this stuff, while I've processed it and dealt with the trauma, I knew this stuff happened as a child all my life, but I didn't know how severe it was. It wasn't until the repressed memories came back. And that's kind of like a different story. But so the practices that were encouraged in this book were, sorry about that, were put into motion by my parents. Now, remember that whole ADHD thing? I'm very forgetful. If you ask me to do something, if I don't have the right kind of tools, I'm gonna forget. I will. My parents didn't understand that. And so I got in trouble a lot. And I got this a lot from my parents because I would forget stuff. Not purposefully. Already confused that I'm forgetting it. Now I'm getting punished, right? And so the thing is that I know my heart, and remember my heart as a child. I've always been very kind and very I want to serve people, and I want to help people and encourage people. And so for me, I felt like as a child, not only was this stuff happening, but it was happening for things that were not my fault, for me just existing, basically. I'm sorry, Nico. That's a very messed up thing, right? Because it really messes you up to not be able to cry as a child, to be forced to not cry while they're giving you pain. It's messed up. Anyway, so from ages 3 to about 8 or 9, thousands of times, each time a traumatic event. So that results in me learning things in a particular environment. Chaos, okay? Always scared, always worried, always fearful, because I'm conditioned to be fearful, because that's what this is supposed to do, right? But the thing is that this book by this Christian author promoted doing this. Yet in the Bible it says that perfect love casts out fear. Casts out fear. This doesn't cast out fear. So things were already broken within that whole mindset, right? And so I developed a lot of sort of responses to things that were just out of chaos. Things where I would, that was my normal. You guys don't realize that your baseline is your baseline. You don't know what other people's baseline is. And for you, that baseline is normal. So my chaos was just normal. A lot of it internalized, but that was normal. And so, so I got older, and eventually I struggled with a lot of other stuff too, but eventually when I got out of the family, or not out of the family, but out of the house, and moved on and all that stuff. And then what happened on my 43rd birthday was I developed a condition called piriformis. Okay, piriformis is this muscle that wraps around the sciatic nerve and squeezes it. Okay, and it hurts. Guess where it hurts? Right exactly where I was hit. Okay, coincidentally, because this is something separate. My parents didn't cause that. I just coincidentally developed this condition. And so one night I started feeling it. Don't know why. but my brain thinks it knows why. It's the only thing that has an answer for it, and it's saying, get the hell out of there. We remember this. We remember this, and I'm not doing it. So guess what it does? It starts sending me memories of everything that happened, trying to get me to get out. And during that time, I was remembering things. I was smelling the rooms. I could, feel like the carpet or whatever. Like, it was so surreal, and the memories were so crystal clear, like it was yesterday. Um, so for 2 hours, I experienced a load of repressed memories, emotions, and everything just pour out. And then the next day, I hit burnout. All of that whole experience with my PTSD and the CPTSD just wiped me out. And so then I was, kind of unable to do anything for a couple months because I was just so like gone. And so then I recognized a lot of these behavior patterns and stuff. I realized that this book promotes like an unhealthy attachment to your parents, which I certainly fit the bill of having that happen. And now what happens though is, remember, I grew up in fear. ADHD isn't a mental illness, it's a neurodivergency. But don't spam, please. If you want to learn more, feel free to learn more, but don't spam. Like, people are here to learn. But I know you want attention, so I'll pin your comment for you. You get it now, okay? You can have your attention, but I'm going to continue. So anyway, I developed that condition that mirrors the trauma, the abuse that my parents had, right? It feels exactly like it, and so my brain's just, here you go. Here's all the memories. Here's everything that happened and all the reasons why you need to get out of there. That's because now my amygdala is just so easily triggered. What happens is that, like, I grew up having to be able to have a fear response quickly. I needed to be able to find that safe place in my head. I needed to be able to find a way to survive. And so I grew up in fear. Now what happens though is that my amygdala is kind of conditioned to like be very like easily triggered. And so I'll be sitting on the couch, playing a game or something, and then all of a sudden I will feel this wave of fear just come over me for no reason. I'm not doing anything. And then I'll start to feel this emotion, specifically the emotion of betrayal, an emotion that I never processed. Here's the thing about emotions too. When I would go into this dissociative state, my emotions were, fear, probably anger, sadness, confusion, and betrayal. So I would go into this dissociative state, and that would be my hiding place, right? And then I would come out of it when those emotions were gone. But they weren't processed. They were just kind of like left in the junk drawer. And so that happened thousands of times. So when I have this response, emotions are coming out that they're simply the same exact emotion I had as a kid being dealt with now. And so that's why I was experiencing specifically certain types of emotions and certain types of feelings, because it was basically all the things that I had when I dissociated. And I would just come out when it's safe. And so when I get triggered and that fear comes and that betrayal comes, the betrayal that I never was able to process, that was the reason why I wasn't even mad at my parents, because I never actually was able to feel betrayed. And so when I'm triggered that way, thankfully now I'm able to recognize that it's my amygdala having a misfire, right? And I'm then able to take that sort of knowledge and not get emotionally dysregulated. I sit with the feelings, because the thing is that CPTSD is a physical thing. It affects your nervous system. Once you have a trigger, it's on your body's going to do whatever it wants, because it's through the nervous system. And the nervous system you have no control over. It's doing its own thing. And so what would happen is you know, I'd start shaking, doing all this kind of stuff, and emotions would be released. And rather than like accepting them as my current emotion I should have, I see it as an emotion that I had as a child that is now coming out because of this. You know, and so it helps me kind of like understand the present moment a little better, which then allows me to just sit with it. And so I've even been on live when I've been like in full like fight flight, because I'm able to identify that this is just that stupid thing that I've always dealt with. So it has like a unique kind of like signature to it. You know, I of course when I feel it, I check around to make sure, you know, should I be afraid right now? No? Okay, cool. You know, and so all that to say, that's complex PTSD, and it's hella complex. Um, it messed up my upbringing. It messed up sort of my understanding of the world. It conditioned me to be submissive to parents. Strong-willed child. It was about taking away the will of the child. Desiree, first gift. I appreciate you. How long have you been here? Hopefully you didn't hear too much. But anyway, so that's essentially what the CPTSD is. And for me, um, I I was grateful to be able to learn about it because I had more information. But what really sort of traumatized me was my own lack of self worth, because I was definitely had many times to bring this up over the years, you know. Thank you. I had times to bring it up over years, but I never did. And going through therapy and doing all that stuff, I realized it's because that one emotion, betrayal, I never processed it. I took that into that dissociative state and I just left it there. And you know, when the you know bad stuff was gone, I would come out of it and I would not process that emotion. And so once I started, you know, what happened right after this happened, I ended up in fight or flight, brain fog. I was in it for like almost a year. And when I came out of it, you know, I had lots of therapy, lots of talk therapy, lots of things to kind of like help me out. Immediately, the first thing I felt as soon as I came out of the brain fog and I felt like my emotions coming back, and I felt like myself kind of reconnecting with my body, I felt like my body was powering back up. I got hit with a wave of emotions, specifically betrayal. I wasn't angry. I was hurt. I was hurt by my parents. And I had plenty of reasons to be angry, but that wasn't the emotion I was feeling. The emotion I was feeling was just hurt, emotional hurt. And for me, that was very freeing because I was like, this is the emotion I was never able to feel. This was the one that, you know, honor your father and your mother, right? You get told that over and over and over. So you're not allowed to feel betrayed, you know? It's a hard thing, you know? And yeah. Long answer, but ask complex question, get complex answer. But yeah, I'm in a much better place though when it comes to that. You know, being able to acknowledge it and talk about it and share sort of those specifics, I'm only able to do because of so much therapy, you know. Um, but yeah, um, sorry to hear about that though. Like that sounds like it was awful. But here's the weird thing about my trauma. I processed the actual physical parts of it decades ago. Okay. So my real trauma was just the emotional understanding, the knowledge of what actually happened, because really what it took for me to see how wrong it was to have a son who was the same age as me, who looked exactly like I did as a child, behaved exactly like I did as a child, and looking at him and thinking, I would never do that. Like, never. Why did my parents do that? because I love my son. I would never want anything like that to happen to him. And that thought just froze me. And it took me a very long time to get an answer to that. But getting that answer was actually kind of important for me. And so it helped me understand my emotions, helped me understand that, yes, I do care about myself. This was because of this. These were all like the healing things that I needed to know. Butterfly Warlord, thank you for the lives, the I Heart Yous, the pink headband, and the Bat Boy. What is it? Can't read it. Thing. Tater. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let's see. Did I get religious at all going through that? You mean like kind of like through the teachings in the book, or do you mean just like overall? I mean that's you guys. It goes so much deeper than just the physical trauma. I was isolated from people through the religious stuff. I was not allowed to talk to anybody that didn't go to our church. I didn't go to school. I was homeschooled, which really was just as soon as I learned to read, I was teaching myself, which was basically around like 9th grade. My parents stopped teaching me. And so learning it myself. I was homeschooled all the way through high school. Again, homeschooled, not really. It wasn't through the public school system. It wasn't anything like that. Yeah. So guess what? Homie doesn't have education either. I started going to community college, kind of caught up on a lot of the things that I was deficient in, got to like a good place. And then because of my experience learning computers, I had a very inherent understanding and knowledge of them, which at the time when I entered the workforce was very much needed. So then I started flourishing there. But then that's also when the burnout started happening, because I didn't know that I have to not burn out, work hard. That was what my mom told me when I told her, hey, I can't read, I'm having these issues. She said, try harder. And so that was the worst advice ever, because trying harder is actually what led to the burnout. But here's the thing. All of that stuff, very, very terrible. Did not deserve it. A lot of it done because of just a lot of what do we see today? A lot of people misguided by certain rhetorics and stuff. That stuff existed back then. The stuff that you're seeing with manipulation through churches and stuff, that started with books like this in the 70s. And it's still going on. We're seeing different versions of it, but it's still going on. And so the thing that I take away from it, though, is that now that I have this knowledge, I've been able to do therapy that has helped me communicate with my inner child. Not really like literally, and just like kind of like accessing those types of emotions and being able to reparent myself. Because now I am a dad. I know what it's like to be a dad. I love my son. I take care of my son. I need to do that to myself. I need to give myself that grace, my inner child, and so I do that. I sit with my teddy bear that I had the whole time, because this was the only teddy bear I had and basically represents my childhood, all tattered and everything. But this was my little guy. And so, working with this to help me with my inner child, and connecting a lot of the dots on certain things has helped me come to a really good place with my trauma. I don't really care about the physical stuff. What I do care about is that now I know what it's like to experience significant amount of pain, hurt, betrayal, and I can empathize more with people who go through that stuff. I can help people because I know what it's like. And that is an amazing, amazing thing to be able to do. And not only that, sharing my story here has helped people. And it's a shitty story. It really is. It's terrible. And somehow I was able to polish that turd and help people with it. It started from the Lord, unfortunately. I'll show the book again, and then you can look it up, I guess. So, yeah. I'm able to take that turd of a childhood that I have and turn it into something that helps other people out. It wasn't the Lord. It wasn't the Lord. The founder of Focus on the Family has been really misleading people for a very long time, and convinced a lot of people to do things. You will find, if you Google this, you'll find communities of people whose parents use this, and they are all suffering with some kind of trauma, some kind of nervous disorder. It was not thought out. Okay, like my older brother has been in therapy for over a decade, specifically for this stuff. Me, a year. You know, it's terrible. Okay, I was able to take that and create something good with it, which for me is, that's all I need. If I have to go through this, but then I can help other people, I'm not saying it's worth it, but I'll take that over it just being a turd that just sits there. And so I very much appreciate the fact that I'm able to be open and vulnerable and help others not feel alone, and understand that a lot of these things are not their fault. Give them the perspective that it's not their fault. You know, I'm hanging in there. I'm working on myself. I've been going to outpatient therapy programs. But yeah, as far as me and the big guy, we're kind of at odds right now because of things like this, because unfortunately this ties into the moral majority, which ties into basically all of MAGA. It's all still here today. It's just the names have changed, the things have done, because this is all about having kids, lots of kids, and getting them to be conservatives so that they're voters in the future. That's really what it's about. And like, seriously, my parents had 7 kids. They were definitely like on track to do what the book said. So this book, though, does not define me, right? This is a part of my past. It explains certain things, but it's not going to be the thing that I live by. It's not going to be the thing that I ruminate on. It does give me answers, though. Answers that I never had, you know? And that's what's great. I was able to see just how wrong and terrible these things were. Because for me, as a kid, it was justified, right? It's not about the physical acts, it's about what the act meant to you. Exactly. Joso has nailed it. If I could give you a gift, Joso, I would give you a galaxy right now. Desiree, thank you for the tiny diny. Which kind is it? Ooh, the tiny diny in love. Thank you. People distort the love of the Lord. Yeah, exactly. They do. They do. But see, here's the thing. Like I said, I'm kind of at odds right now, because it's kind of a pretty big thing. And you know, people love that Focus on the Family, right? Focus on the Family is a big part of the church. So anytime I see that stuff, I think they promote that, right? And unfortunately, I have a trauma response to it. And it's not my fault. It's my parents' fault. Sorry, you reap what you sow, right? And this is what they sowed with. And now, this is what I reap. But yeah, it was to control humanity. It was. Like, seriously, I had to dive into a lot of the understanding of these things. There's so many things that are connected. Like, I'm not even assuming these things. It's easy to see the progression, because it's all the same authors, all the same people who were basically there to manipulate. Because like the manipulation of the church started with in the 70s with abortion being the topic, and that stemmed from the previous issue being segregation. When segregation went away, they needed a different thing. And so they picked abortion. They made it a big deal, even though prior years, certain churches had even come out and said like abortion's fine. But they changed everyone's mind. They started like hitting up certain spots to push this abortion is bad thing, which before that, nobody talked about it. Nobody cared. But then one day people are starting to care, right? And so they got a lot of people upset and got them out to vote. And then they started being able to like manipulate certain like districts and stuff to be able to get more conservatives. Like, it was all very strategic. But very like out in the open. But yeah, so it started basically, that manipulation of the church started with the abortion issue. That wasn't an issue, but then became an issue when they made it an issue. God didn't make it an issue. It wasn't in the Bible. It was, Roe versus Wade was practically a decade prior, And then what? These guys get together and decide it's a problem, and now everyone believes it's a problem. And it wasn't decided by God. It was literally other people were just like, hey, here's the thing that we're going to care about now. And think of how many people are no longer here because they weren't given access to something that they needed. Like, it's caused harm. That book caused harm. I don't think people will ever say, what you experienced with this book, with this, it's the right thing. I don't think anyone would say that I deserved what I got. But we're now just in this sort of like delusional phase where we're seeing people just being manipulated because they've been manipulated this whole time. And it sucks. I mean, that's my parents. They're still on that wave. My dad's gone, but my mom's still on that wave. And so it's a very terrible thing, not only for me, but that it's something that still goes on. So like the thing is like things like maggot, like those are hardcore triggers for me, because they're basically what this was, but like 40 years later. So it's, sorry for the quick history of how religion has been used in politics, but it's look up the moral majority, read about it. It's very real stuff. And then look up this like neutral things. Go on Wikipedia, because they're very neutral. They'll just use the terminology, right? Just look it up. No, you're probably not actually reading the Bible, but look these things up, because I don't know, like I feel like people would see it and see how vile it is, but they really latch on to the Abraham and Isaac, and that Abraham was going to off Isaac because God said so, right? And so it's like, oh, well, if Abraham can do that, well, I can do this, because it's not going to be offing, it's just going to be really hurting. Perfect. Justified by what is essentially a fairy tale. Cool. Great. What's going on in the chat? What's going on in the chat? I don't want to scroll up. Somebody just tell me. Parents are bad. Yeah, my parents were bad. I do believe that they had good intentions, but their execution was just way off. You know what I mean? I know what it's like to have good intentions and then like have it just kind of like, egg on your face. This is something different. All right, 124 MGs. We're about to get trolled, you guys. We're about to get trolled, so get ready. Hopefully they want to learn this time. Or maybe they took off. No, you're there. You're there. Hi. Let's talk. Gabe's trauma. Trying to define what Gabe's trauma might look like. Oh. Right. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like being able to say things like my parents are bad is so freeing for me, because it's no longer me. I took all the blame and the pain. And being able to be free from that gives me so much confidence that I lacked, you know? And it helped me find myself because I shoved myself away. It's honestly like a beautiful thing. It sucks the way that it happened, but being able to like understand myself the way that I do um, has helped me a lot, you know? The NFL team, um, all right, now I got to scroll up to be like, what's going on? Um, thank you for the follows, everyone. Appreciate it. But yeah, so I mean that's kind of like my rant. You know, I do not talk to my mom. I have talked to her within the last year because I was hoping that she would, you know, kind of like own up to stuff. But she denied a lot of things that I knew were true, specifically things about my medical history. One of the things that I didn't bring up that is actually pretty traumatic, and so this might be a trigger alert for people who don't want to think about potential, you know, electrocution. Um, but I started developing a functional motor disorder, basically shaking, right? And that was how I was reacting to the trauma. Eventually, it became too much. I was just constantly shaking. So my mom figured out a way to stop it, and it was to give me electrocompulsive therapy, but without sedation. And that flashback and the pain associated hurt very much. It was the worst pain I could ever recall. Um, and that was one of the big reasons why I had to internalize it, because it was out of survival. I was shaking, and it was very clear something was wrong with me. And if they took me to a doctor, the doctors were going to figure out that I was being abused. So they wouldn't do that. Instead, they used um, that, you know, electrocompulsive therapy through a Christian psychiatrist who performed that in the church office. So um, that was a pretty traumatic part of it. But when I asked my mom about certain things, about like even my shaking and stuff, because the thing is, I started shaking. Um, I started shaking about maybe 9 months before I realized I had all this stuff. And when I called my mom and told her, she started crying hard, like out of nowhere. And my mom's very emotionless, like truly. She cried hard. And then she stopped and said, "It's probably nothing." Okay? Did not make sense. So then I asked her later, and she's like, "No, you never shook, you know?" But the thing is that even before all this happened, I recognized that the shaking was something that was very, very familiar. Like it was so familiar. Um, and so, yeah, really struggling with substances. And I think it's all repressed childhood. You know, that's a way that's one of the risks of dealing with this stuff is, you know, addiction, because find ways to feel, you try and find ways to feel normal, right? To feel calm. And things provide temporary relief, but it doesn't solve anything. It just numbs it, you know? I'll scroll. And so, yeah, it's something you definitely have to be wary of, especially if you know you have ADHD or, you know, neurodivergency and stuff. All right, Blake, I'm scrolling up, right? We're going to the moon. So it's difficult to not despise me for what I allowed me to go through to the extent I was smart. So am I scrolling up more? Or is that the comment? Um, that's it. Okay, let me take a look at it again, and I'll use my smart brain. It's so difficult to not despise me for what I allowed me to go through with, to the extent I was smart. Blake, that's honestly what, for me, when I had all the memories come back and stuff, it was traumatic to have those memories come back, and I asked myself a lot of questions. And one of it was, do I hate me? Do I hate me because I never brought it up? And it took me about a year to get that answer, but when I got that answer, it was like 3-4 days later I came out of fight or flight. Like, it was truly just me, in a way, kind of being traumatized by myself, that I never did anything about it. And my dad's gone now. He would have been the one to tell me everything. He would have told me, because he became a softie as he got older. My mom is pretty stubborn and has never admitted to ever doing anything wrong. Why would she start now? And she continues to hold that. And so despite the fact that her son is going through all these things, she's never called. She hasn't called since then. She's very avoidant. And it's kind of odd, right? She's deliberately pushing away, her past. Really need to find a way to get grounded. One of the things that I really like to do is the tip skill from dialectical behavioral therapy, which is temperature, intense workout, progressive muscle relaxation, and paced breathing. For me, the temperature one, the cold water, really helps. I was having like a very, very stressful morning a couple weeks ago, and I was just getting really, really upset. And like, I only had like a minute to shower, and I realized that shower's not even going to warm up by that time. And I just was so mad, and then I threw myself into the shower, purposefully knowing that's going to regulate me. It's going to suck. Stay in there. Let the water hit you. Let the cold water hit you. Your whole body will say, all right, guys, I know we're doing this, but we gotta get it together. And it does that. It really does help. If that doesn't work, progressive muscle relaxation. So like kind of, tensing up while deep breathing and releasing, all your muscles from your toes all the way up. Then went intense workout. So I would, if I would wake up from like a night terror that had to do with my PTSD, I would literally roll out of bed and just start doing push-ups, because my body would just be so filled with nervous energy. And I'd start doing push-ups, and what that would do is that would again force my body to have to focus on something else and do something else. And then paced breathing, box breathing, 4-second breathe in, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and then wait for 4 seconds and just repeat. I know I have to reframe it, but there are things I'll never forgive and I regressed. Blake, you don't need to reframe it. Now, typical therapy, CBT therapy, which is what all the therapists learn to become psychologists, tells you, reframe it. But CBT therapy does not work for complex trauma. All it really does is invalidate you. You know what happened is real. It is a part of your story. And a lot of CBT therapy says, yeah, but look at it this way. I was told, your parents were just misguided. Don't make it that big of a deal. And it's like, my nervous system does not like that answer. Like, I can't control it. That makes no sense. What I like about dialectical behavioral therapy is that there's this awesome skill that for me was so easy, and for a lot of people is the hardest. And it's radical acceptance. And it's actually what the topic was today. And really it's about understanding that things are the way they are. Can't do anything about it. Acknowledging you can't do anything about it. And you're not saying it's good. You're not saying it's bad. You're not doing any of that stuff. You're just saying it happened and there's nothing else I can do about it. A therapist said, oh my gosh, I've had people say lots of weird things to me. But yeah, radical acceptance is something that truly, truly, truly helped me, because I had to let go of the fact that I'm never going to get answers for certain things that I know would help me out. And radical acceptance, look it up, basically gave me permission to let go of things that I cannot control. And being able to do that and just let go was so freeing, because now I'm not ruminating on the past. Yeah, I had this stuff happen, but I let myself feel, I let myself release it. And yeah, it still sucks, and talking about it, kind of makes me feel a little weird, but I'm in such a good place with it, a place I did not think I would ever be in. Um, but yeah, let's see, close photographers for yeah, I can't be consistent. A therapist said it too. So yeah, I had a psychiatrist at an IOP, an intensive outpatient program, tell me that I couldn't be ADHD because I was too successful, and then said, well, everybody has ADHD. So like twice being dismissed by somebody when I just, guys, I just discovered I have ADHD. I hit burnout. Like, I need help. There's no one to help you when that happens. There's no one there. There's no one anywhere. You have to like find a way to get yourself up and get yourself fixed. Um, you know, the doctors, psychiatrists, all that stuff, a lot of times they'll just overlook these things or write them off. You know, I get it. I wish I used radical acceptance before I had cycled back thousands of times. Blake, radical acceptance would be looking at that statement and saying, I get it. You know, and then talking about, you should use radical acceptance before I have cycled back thousands of times and it destroyed me. Those things that happened that destroyed you, you can radically accept that they happened. Not that you're proud of it or anything, but that it happened. Now you can do something different. You can let go of it. And for me, like I said, it was so easy because I wanted to let go of these things, but I felt like I had to hold on to them. And I didn't. I didn't have to hold on, and it freed me. So yeah, it's honestly a very beautiful thing. So how's everybody doing? Blake, you just gotta like give yourself grace. I'm not just, okay, I'm not gonna like tell you what to do. I hope you can give yourself grace, because what happened you didn't deserve, and your responses to these things also happen to do with the trauma. They're trauma responses. A lot of these things you didn't choose. You didn't choose any of it. You did choose to beat yourself up, but what else were you gonna do? I'm sure you fully believed it was your fault. So you need to give yourself grace. You need to forgive yourself for how badly you treated yourself, because you abused your own self through this doubt, through this, it's my fault, that stuff. You need to give yourself grace. You need to give yourself forgiveness, give yourself love. And from there, that's when you can start to like heal and grow. But it starts with you first. It's, radical acceptance for me was like the start of my healing journey for my PTSD, for my CPTSD. Because the first thing I had to do was let go of it. And then I can work on how I'm going to go moving forward. Yeah. I wish I'm gonna have to like read all this stuff later. I'm so sorry, Gabe, that I missed out on this whole conversation. Because I wish I could have been there as well. Did I invalidate myself? I hope not. Or you're talking to Gabe, hopefully. But yeah. I trust Joso, Gabe, and if he says that you didn't deserve it, then you didn't deserve it. Okay, like, and I would take the empathy as real. Okay. Joso's a great guy, and he knows this stuff. It sucks that we know this stuff. But at least we can take our crappy stuff and turn it into something good, hopefully by helping people, you know? So yeah. Oh, it's getting close to bedtime. Abundance received. How's it going? Desiree, you're still there. Are you quiet? Should I go back 5 years before I exhausted everything I mean to just accept it? See, that's the thing though. Radical acceptance is getting rid of those I wish I could have, because you can't. There's nothing you can do, but you can change what you do moving forward. Now you have understanding. Now you know a little bit more. Now you can pick up the pieces, hopefully in a better way. You know, because now you can't change the past. But that's where radical acceptance comes in and says, yeah, you can't. There's nothing you can do. Let go of it. Let's focus on something that you can do. And a lot of times, especially when you're going through a lot of stuff and everything's just kind of piling up, you need that. You need that reminder to just let go of this and move on. You know? But, you know, I'm sorry that you've had to go through this. And yeah. Whew. I have been talking for a long time. That time just flew by. But yeah. Gabe, you are so minimizing trauma. Yeah, and the thing is that it doesn't matter how little or how big it is. Trauma is how it impacted you. And you may not think it impacted you because you're tough, or it'll also come back 40 years later if it wants to. And by that time, those emotions have rotted. You know, they've eaten you. And that's how they come out. Blake, you could have, but you can choose you now. Everything that you can do now moving forward is your choice, and you have control. You have the autonomy to be able to do that. You know? So, again, give yourself grace and know you didn't deserve it, and know that you have a community here. Okay, if you want to join the Discord, you can go to either the link in my profile or go to timadhd.com and click the Discord link there. There's issues with it on the bio, so that's why I had to whip up a quick website. But actually, the quick website is kind of cool because it will show when I'm live. So awesome, awesome, possum. Well, I know that there's a lot of pressure, Joso, from like the mom and stuff like that. You know, and minor as well. So, you know, not able to have autonomy, you know. Doesn't mean you can't get help. Just means need a little bit help in a different way, you know. Which I hope you're able to get, you know. All right, you guys. Should I end the live? I think all my rants and stuff have Oh my goodness, leave me alone. Let's see where I am. Am I gonna lose a fragment? A fragment. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna gain 2 fragments. Holy moly! I don't think I've ever been in the top 7% in C5. That's really cool, guys. Like honestly, get 2 fragments in the C League. I'm no D League anymore. I'm C League, and yeah. But yeah, pretty cool. Neuronest, how's it going? Man, all the people that were here from, not here from Discord, are just missing out. How are you? How are you, Neuronest? Hey Jen, how's it going? What's on Discord? Discord, mainly just a community to talk, to share things. Thank you for the heart me. To have community when people can't or don't have community. Like, it's a place to be because we need each other. You know, as much as society says to suck it up or keep it to yourself, complex mental health is already complex enough. We really shouldn't go about it alone. We should help each other out. You know, thank you for the Go Popular, Jen. How have your lives been? But yeah, so going on Discord, there for anyone who wants to join. Yeah, and like I said, links in the bio. But yeah, so now I'm wondering if I should stay online. Actually, I'll be good. I may not get 2 fragments, but I may at least get 1. But in the least, I'm not going to lose any. Oh, I need this. I've been on in a couple days. It's funny you say that I look exhausted. Please stay on live. Jeez, guys, I'm being peer pressured. So I've been up since yesterday morning, and it is starting to get a little weird in my head. Thankfully, things are always weird in my head, so I'm kind of functioning, but it's getting a little harder. But at least I'm home and I can just go plop in bed. I do need to go to sleep. I do. I also don't want to go to sleep too early and then be up too early, because I'll just throw everything off. So I really need to push through to try and regulate. And I'm trying to get to 1 more hour. Why, what's going on? I had to stay up and fill out some forms regarding the divorce, and it took until like 4:30 a.m. and then I had a 6 a.m. live, and then I had all these other things. I was like, I'll just make some really strong coffee. And so that's what I did, and joined in, and we all watched as I just got very, very sassy with everyone. But if you want to see it, go to my YouTube, because on my YouTube, it records, when it records the lives, it saves them and you can just view them. So, you know, and of course, smash that subscribe button and the like button, like you know, they tell you to do. But do it. But yeah, recordings are there. And you can at least like kind of see like whatever happens. But yeah, so no, wait until after I get off the live. Like, I need the viewership. I'm getting 2 fragments. I'm moving on up. But yeah, so I decided though, with this item, this thing that my mom gave me, I'm actually going to carve into it perfect love casts out fear, which basically nullifies the justification, and then I'm going to find a way to dismantle it so it can't actually hurt anyone. And so like I've been like, the thing is like, I could go back to videos that I have at the very, very beginning of my account from like over a year ago. And if I were to make some of the videos public again, one of the videos talked about that and talked about how someday I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with it, and it's going to mean something to me. And I feel like that encapsulates the whole thing for me, which is it was wrong, nothing biblical about it at all, and it was wrong not only being wrong in the Bible, but it was wrong to introduce fear into someone that you are telling you love. So, yeah. Oh, that thing has bad energy. It has some bad energy. The first one that my dad made, he went into the garage, he like like carved it out like all nice, and then got the finish and finished it, polished it and everything. He took a lot of effort. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. My mom brought it to me like a few months before I had this episode and said, "You got it the most, so you can have these." But in that same delivery was also like a whole bunch of video games and stuff like that. So just took it, you know. But she did. I have two of them, and these are legit like the ones, you know. But I'm taking it back. I have so much power over this thing. It doesn't haunt me at all, because I know that it was all wrong. Like the thing, and that's one of the things about me and sort of like the autism that I think kind of helps me a little bit is like if I can just rationalize it, it'll help me so much. If I can just make sense of something, it'll help me so much. And being able to understand just how wrong that thing is and why and how misguided and everything, and just to kind of look at it and be like, man, that was just some like it's so disconnected from what actually happened, because my actual trauma was more the betrayal from my parents than anything else, you know. Oh yeah. No, I was already off about that for some other stuff because somebody asked about CPTSD. So yeah, it's not okay. You know, and it ties into religious trauma and stuff too, so it's kind of a bummer, because when you go through this, it rips you apart, not only mentally and physically and like through your relationship with your parents, but it also makes you question your spirituality also. And so it hits pretty hard when it hits. But yeah, you know, and the thing is, I do make light of a lot of it too, because my dad's a drummer, and I say, yeah, he likes hitting things, you know, because those things don't hurt me. What really hurt me was them doing it, you know. And so knowing that that's the real trauma kind of helps me look at these things a lot easier. It's just more being instruments of, you know, misunderstandings and, you know, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so anyway, let's talk about something fun. If I'm going to stay on, we're going to talk about something fun. Do 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 do. Scroll if I can. Alright, Blake. The unnecessary stress over so long and how much I went. Oh, I have cycled the answers, exhausted myself on the avoidance. I'm just horrified with the unnecessary stress over so long. Well, see, but that's just it. Is like you're stressing about things you cannot change. You're wasting your stress on you, on making yourself feel bad. You know. Um, I don't I don't know what that guy does. I don't pay attention. All I know is that like some people who put themselves in the spotlight, you know, just they get enough attention, you know. But I don't know what his deal is. I don't know any of that stuff. But I do talk to like real people about real stuff, so you know, maybe he'll come into the live sometime and I can help him out. Marley, thank you for the heart me. But yeah, so you guys, I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired. And everybody's going away. Yeah, Kanye doesn't like fish sticks either. So that's the only like pop culture thing I know about him. So yeah, all right. I'm gonna sleep. I am. Guys, I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna go to sleep. But if you guys want to continue talking, seriously, go to my Discord, sign up, go in there, talk, have fun, you know, go wild. But keep it a safe space. And thank you guys for keeping this room. Marley, seriously? I want to screenshot that. Screenshotting it right now. That's so cool. How far into it are you? Yes, I'm inside the Discord now. Woohoo! Woohoo! Yeah, website, timadhd.com. Yeah, 2 sessions. Okay, cool. It may take a while for you to kind of like start to get it, but when you get it and you start to understand what the program really is and what DBT really is, you will learn so much. But when going into it, go into it with kind of like a mindset of wanting to know yourself, right? But not only just that, be very curious about yourself, very curious about why things, curious about like why you respond certain ways, why how you handle things certain ways. So yeah, just you're starting it soon. Awesome. Yeah. Deanna. No, I'm not done with notes. Just checking in if you're planning to sleep tonight. Yes, I was just trying to tell everybody that I want to go to sleep. If you scroll up, you'll see people responding to it. But you know how it is at the ADHD, and you get distracted. Hey, Deanna, guess what I did today? I did not lie on my daily check-in form. When it said total hours slept, total hours of sleep, I made a nice little 0. I was honest. Yeah. I just want to let you know. I was going to be honest anyway, but just want to let you know that I did. I did. Well, thank you. Thank you. But honesty should be a standard anyway, but yeah, I get it. So how much more notes do you have and all that stuff? What if one cycles back thousands of times and answers an unnecessary stress? Therapy. Because you will have things that you need to process, and really what a therapist is going to do is help you navigate to the thing that you're trying to process. Because here's the thing, you're in your brain, your therapist is going to be your flashlight. Go without your therapist, you're in your brain and you're just running wild. Get a therapist who can help guide you to through the trauma, and it'll change everything. My therapist is an amazing trauma therapist who also happens to be neurodivergent, and has helped me with so many things. Way too many notes still. That's going to be a long night for you. I really hope you don't have to stay up. That was basically, paperwork was what made me stay up last night. That's therapy over years. Why I'm in this so much pain. It's just me. No, Blake, it's not you. You have the wrong therapist, or something's happening, or maybe you're not transparent and open enough for them to be able to work with you in an authentic way. But if different therapy models exist as well, and a lot of those things can be much more beneficial. You're at the office, so is my boss. So are you gonna be in the office like all night and stuff? You need to talk to your father? Heck yeah. If I can, I don't even know where they put his ashes, but if I can find them, I'll see if I can glue him back together, breathe some life into him, and then I'll ask him, why did you use religion as a way to justify you hitting me? That'd be a cool little quick answer to my father, or question to my father. I'm assuming you probably were talking about one father versus the other, so I just want to make sure I address both. Nice, Deanna, get your goal. Oh my goodness, I was just diagnosed. I was just diagnosed, you guys. What's going on, dude? Mark, what's happening? Are you okay? Like, why does this stuff bother you? Congrats, you're happy. I know. I get pretty happy at times. You know, maybe I'll just hold my sunshine bear with his rainbow drops. You don't have a. Why do you say I don't have ADHD? Do you know what ADHD is? Because I do. And I have it. No, 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 guys, come on, come on. I'll talk to Mark. Mark, let's talk. I'm not going to be facetious or sassy. I'm actually really tired, but like, let's talk. If you want to know more about ADHD or any of these things, I got some experience. Need to get in the gym and stop being lazy. Nah, that's not it. Because it's a different neurotype in the brain. And you know, trying to man up and shove it down. Yeah, I tried to just shove it down, and then about 40 years later, all the repressed memories came flooding back. So it doesn't work like that. And the stop being lazy thing, yeah, it's really rough to be able to do things when you have zero dopamine to work off of. You know, sounds kind of gay. You kind of sound pretty ignorant because you keep using that word as if it's a bad thing. So kind of feel like you just are disconnected from reality. And so if that's the way that's going to be, just swipe up and go somewhere else. Just come on. Nobody wants you around in this room if you're going to be like that. You know, so. Oh, really? But yeah, ADHD, I don't have it, right? I don't know, Mark. I kind of feel like maybe, you know, things are rough. You know, maybe ask your parents if, you know, you can pick up some deodorant and maybe start wearing it, because then you can, you know, be like all the other 13-year-old boys. But I am done with you because I gave you a chance. But no, he's gone. I gave him plenty of chances. Homie, just nah. That's probably why, like, my viewer counts is down, because I block people. But, eh, eh. The thing is, I probably would have let him stay longer if he wasn't saying gay all the time. You know, like, you know. Yeah, I mean, I do, especially with the things like, oh, you know, you know, gay when you see it. Like, yeah, but hey, I was a kid on the internet. Now, I didn't do stuff like this, but I was a kid on the internet. I just went to rotten.com instead. You know? Real stand-up guy. I have to make friends, either my demons, but yeah. Yeah, I, yeah. Yeah, well, well, I don't know, you know? I don't have authority, like, on that subject, so, you know? But I would imagine that I do have authority on being able to recognize things because I also have them, you know. But his detector was a little bit off. So I don't know. But yeah, so takes one to know one. I know you are, but what am I? But yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Probably just got an ADHD diagnosis today, you know, and it's probably spiraling, probably, you know, upset. Take it out on some. He wanted me to be gay. Like, could be that too, you know. I can't help it, Like you do. Yeah, exactly. You know, just, yeah. Sorry, man. You know, I just, what can I say? I was born this way, right? But yeah, it's just so ridiculous. What? I'm sorry, Joso. You know, I'm really sorry. I mean, like not sorry like in the literal sense, but just sorry for the heartbreak. It's not what I intended to do. You know, and I hope that you'll be able to accept me for who I am and not what everyone wants me to be, you know? You can cry yourself to sleep. I just don't want you to. Thank you for the finger hearts. Good night, Neuronest. Have a good one. Appreciate you. But yeah. Deanna, thank you for the rose. Hillary, I'm so sorry. That's right. You told me that. You told me that. I wrote it down. I think I did. My post-it note system is not working. Let's see. Nope, not that one. Nope. 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 All right. You're getting a new one. I want to make sure it's spelled the right way. Which way was it spelled? There's, in case I have to type it. There you go. There you go. Really gonna have me crying myself to sleep. Reminding me of self. Blake, thank you for the roses. I appreciate that. And Deanna, thank you for the roses as well. You guys gonna steal the title from each other? Oh no, they're fighting over me. I know, but it's easier for you because my name's in my thing, you know? So, yeah. This is how my hospitals mess up your files. Look it, there is nothing wrong with my filing system. It works, okay? So like with what we were just saying though, what is it then that he thought I had? Blake, let me know it's sent. Let me look up Blake. I can feel the resistance in me after thousands of cycles. Avoidance, it runs far. Yeah, and it's not going to change overnight, but you can change it. You know, behaviors can change, and it's essentially modeling those behaviors that you want, you know, and doing them and practicing them, you know. Can't find you, sir. Here, have another file. Yep. Yep. You know what's gonna happen is I'm probably gonna find it. Oh no, these are the better ones. These are the better ones. The ones we did the other day. Let's see. We got Go Blind or Deaf. That was one of my suggestion for my sensory sensitivity. Tell my nervous system to not be nervous. Stop being sensitive. Sell eyes to a rich talking fish. And don't feel stressed. All these things that are going to help me. These are my coping mechanisms. All right, if I don't talk about someone you trust. Gabe, like really, like the thing is going to be like being able to find a therapist that you can open up to and trust, and someone who you feel comfortable with being able to just reveal everything to them, because that's how you're going to be able to navigate out, is with the guidance that they're able to give you. But you really have to give yourself to it, you know. Yeah. Zapatos. I didn't want to heal. I still am avoiding it. I just don't know how to just decide. There's only one way, Blake. In order to get out of it, you have to feel those emotions, which means there's going to be some misery involved, right? But after you feel those and you let those pass, that's when the healing starts. That's when things get better. Yeah. You know, appreciate that, Blake. I'm being real with you too. Like, I'm being real to you in the words that I'm saying. My words are real. Okay. Just keep that in mind, you know, because you have to be super intentional to get out of this funk. You really do. You have to be very, very intentional, which means you're doing all the work. But I'll tell you, as somebody who within the last year discovered and, you know, broke down a lot of their childhood trauma, it's so worth it. And I like chocolate chip cookie dough. What's everyone else's favorite ice cream flavor? But really, yeah, Deanna, it's so true. You know? Yeah. And that's the thing that I love about this community, is we're all sharing our experiences and helping each other out. Cookies and cream is so good. Oh my gosh. With fudge on it. Now you guys, hold on. So I am going to tell you something about my childhood, okay? And then you tell me if the good outweighs the bad, all right? My parents owned an ice cream store, and I had ice cream basically every day. Unlimited ice cream. I didn't pay for ice cream until I was in my 20s. Was it worth it? Would it have been worth it for you? I have felt them over and over and over. That's why it's so difficult for me. It's just needing to let go, you know? But yeah. It's time. I think it's time. Do you guys think it's time? Because I feel like it's time. You guys, I'm in the top 10% right now in C5. Not even D League. I'm in C League, and I'm in the top 10%. And that's because all of you. Thank you for all the you know, being a part of the conversation. And you know, it's honestly not about like gifts and stuff. It's about like engagement and talking with each other and all that stuff. And the best part about it is, I want you guys to do that because we all need each other. You know, you guys don't need me, right? You don't need me, especially if you have each other. Like, you have all of us, including me, and we can be there for each other. We can help each other out. Blake, thank you for the roses and taking the title. Yeah. Strawberry, chocolate, pistachio. I never liked pistachio. I don't know why. Deanna Lynn coming with the roses. Man, it's like I'm on the stage and she's just throwing roses at me. Look at that. 80s going into the 90s. Oh man. You know she's tapping to that triple digit. Look at that. 100 roses. Thank you, Deanna. I appreciate it, as you know. But yeah, thank you. Blake, thank you for the roses. It's next level. I haven't had Italian ice cream. I haven't taken my needed pill. Blake with 100 roses. I don't know why I'm talking into my goober bear, but thank you, Blake. You guys are fighting for me. It's like just me, you guys. Come on, it's just me. You guys, don't fight over me. There's a lot of me to go around, you know. Actually, Deanna, you need to stop. I'm gonna mute you. Deanna like blew up my live this morning with like the whale, the galaxy, like all kinds of stuff. Like look at my gift gallery by going up to like right around right here. Click on my name, and then it'll say gift gallery. Look at that, and then look at what she did. Okay, she done gave me corgi, money gun, whale diving, galaxy, you know. I can't even hear the beep. All this time I've had these things in my ears, and I never turned the receiver on. To be fair, you were procrastinating. Oh yeah. Well, I'll gladly be your expensive procrastination. But I really do appreciate you. Thank you. Like really, truly, like I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I guess that's all I can really say is just thank you. Thank you, Blake, as well, for all the roses and all that stuff. I really do care about you guys. You know, and really, again, I'm just here to try and create community, to connect with people who have gone through the same thing, and to help people who have gone through the same thing and don't know that they're not alone. Deserve the hype of gifts because you're really making it. Thank you. Now I gotta screenshot that one too. You guys. Yeah. So like, what do you recommend for me then? Because I'm scared to ask my mom about help. So you'll need your mom's permission to get help. And are you looking for like, what are you looking for? Like medication or skills, or like what are you trying to get out of a diagnosis? Because there's definitely a lot that you can do without a diagnosis. A little ouchie, still going strong. Oh. Yeah. I mean, those things can kind of be hidden and stuff too, you know. Just want to know why I can't be around normal, can't be normal, and what I can do about it. Gabe, there's no normal. There's no such thing as normal, because we're all so different. It's like you forget that, like, yeah, things like autism are a spectrum, but humanity is a spectrum, you know. And I, you know, Joso, I and Gabe, I'm not talking down on you, but you have so been invalidating yourself, which is what I did as a child to myself. You know, I invalidated myself and did not stick up for myself, and then never brought it up. You know, what's happening here? So yeah, don't invalidate yourself. I am in the DBT class. I talked about how important it was. One of the 4 things that's important to me and the kind of help that I receive is validation. That doesn't mean like lies, because honesty is also one of them, but validation. When you need to be validated, when you are in the right state of mind, but you're just so confused, validation is super important, because sometimes that's like the little bit of juice that you need, right? But what happens when you introduce invalidation? You're sucking all the juice out. There's no growth, there's no movement. You just stay. And nothing happens when you just stay, you know? And I hope that you are able to get to a point where you're not invalidating yourself. You know? Sticking around in the chat because you guys are having a good conversation. For those of you who don't know, I'm not getting off the live yet, but I go live at 6 a.m. every day, Pacific time. And also be sure to go to my profile and turn on the subscription notifications. If you do the Heart Me thing, I would appreciate one, but it's not required. Nothing's ever required to be given. But if you're part of that whole crime circle or whatever, like, hey, your homeboy could use some algorithm love. But regardless, I appreciate you guys being here. That's actually the biggest thing, is that you guys are just here. I love seeing the community embrace the community, you know, and seeing how people treat each other in the light of things that happen, but treat each other here with dignity and respect is just really brings me a lot of hope. And I like that you guys just talk openly and you get serious about stuff, because it always can't be just me talking, you know. I'll reach out on Discord because it's a process. I did a number on me when I didn't have to. I'm responsible for the fact that I have a dissociation disorder. Now, I'm not the cause. The cause, of course, was me, but it was because of all the trauma I experienced. You know, my amygdala gets super triggered, i.e. I get scared at every little thing. Most of it I can internalize, but you know how it is to live with fear constantly? It sucks. And so all that stuff I did to myself too, you know. But yeah, please reach out on Discord. I'm gonna check that website again. I'm hoping that it works. Oh yeah, it's gonna play the video, I think. Oh, I know what you're talking about join the, what was it, that one? Nope, not that one. That's like thousands of cycles, knowing better, and then still seeking outside of me. It's the amount of stress. Blake, you sound stressed, and I know you are. But the thing is that in this moment of stress, you're going in circles, you know. And the thing is that, like, it's not a bad thing. It's an indicator that you are stressed, that you're panicked, you know. And that's when in DBT you need things like, you know, mindfulness techniques and stuff to help, you know, regulate, or I guess regulation through the distress tolerance, and then, you know, getting it right with the mindfulness. But yeah. Blake, you know, I thought that same thing too. When I found out that I had ADHD, you know, I was so mad at my brain. I was so mad that it was never caught, and that so much of my life was wasted burning out, right? But yeah, like, you can't guarantee that it would have been any better. You can't. And things were misdiagnosed a lot. what if they put me on something that was inaccurate and then I ended up being on it for decades because I'd never follow up on it? You know, could have been that way. But yeah, the thing is that I had to accept the fact that I can't change what's happening in the past, but moving forward, I can live more intentionally. And that was something that was something that I knew I had to process that, you know. But it doesn't indicate any value or anything. Okay, you know, you're still you. I am gonna get off live. I'm Gabe. 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 I care about you a lot, and I know Joso cares about you a lot, and I'm sure there's plenty of people in here who care about you a lot. I don't want to hear that you're sorry. I don't want you to be sorry. I'm on live because of you. Right now, I am staying on live because of you. I'm not ending it because I want you to have this space. You know, I could be selfish and end it. I haven't slept in over 36 hours. But you need this. You need community. You need people to be able to talk to. You weren't being selfish. You needed community. And you can get more of that on Discord. But yeah, you know what I mean. Joso, thank you for being awesome. I really do appreciate you. I wish I could make you something more than a mod. But I don't know. Sleep will catch up, forgiving me, knowing that I knew better, and give yourself grace. Okay? You don't need to give yourself forgiveness for doing any stuff. Give yourself grace for the fact that you were in a situation where you had to make some difficult decisions. You know? Could have is past tense. It's gone. There's no flux capacitors or, you know, TARDISes or anything like that. Like, we're stuck, you know, and we just got to figure out what's the right thing to do next. Of course, Joe. So, I know, Joe. So you're just, you know, I appreciate people, and I appreciate you. Me again. What you got for me this time? All the last guy could do was he kept calling me gay. So I really do hope you come at me with something better, because that was just like weak. And like I gave him like so many chances, just kept saying nothing probably. All right, well, welcome in. Don't forget to send your daily heart me. But yeah, so anyway, I do think I'm gonna get off live. Take care of me by having pizza and watching Lucifer. That sounds good. Joso. No, like, listen, like, I truly do care about all of you in here, like, truly. And so I want to appreciate all of you. And I do appreciate all of you. And I want to openly do it. Hey, Leanne, how's it going? About to sign off. But yeah, so, you know, I appreciate what you do, being here, talking with people and all that stuff. I'm going to tell you something on Discord, like right after this live. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go. I haven't slept in 36 hours, so I'm going to sleep like a baby, and then I'm going to be live at 6 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow morning. If you want to join my Discord, links in the profile, or you can go to timadhd.com, and there'll be ways you can get into it from there. And I only have those two because some work for one and some don't work for the other, so, you know, whatever. But good night, good night, good night, good night, all of you. I really do appreciate all of you. You're just You're all very sweet. Um, and yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get off. I gotta actually find the TikTok app on my computer here because it kind of disappeared. There it is. Um, thank you again, everyone. I really do appreciate it. Deanna and Blake and Joso and everyone. Thank you guys for the gifts. Um, and I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. All right. And bye.